Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host Ricardo. This is the Shift Podcast, and this is the show where inspiration meets leaders, mentors, and the everyday person who wants to make an impact in the lives of people. This week, I'm so excited about this week. This week, I've got Hefty with me, one of my mentees. I'm just so excited. I might cry. I don't know. I'm just excited about this. He's a full-time producer, engineer, and a videographer. So on this week's show, it's none other than Hefty. Yo, Hefty, welcome, bro.
Yes, bro. How you doing? You okay?
Yes,
Amazing.
good, man. Good.
Amazing.
Hefty, man, just tell people a little bit, give them a little bit of a background that you feel in your own way, how you want to be introduced.
So I'm Hefty. I'm a creative kid. That's all I've ever been. I'm very influenced by doing anything creative, especially when sharing that creativity with others. Since I was young, I'm just an enthusiastic man. And as I've developed and grown up throughout the world, I've found ways to apply some of my skills to some careers, and I'm grateful enough to say I am where I am, and I now run a studio full time. And my hobbies led me to where my career is now. And yeah, I'm still enthusiastic. I'm just grown up a bit more now. I still feel young, but yeah, we're here.
Yeah, man. And the crazy bit is when did we meet? I think, how old were you when we met?
I must have been high school time. So it's got to be about 14, 15. If it could have been anywhere around those years, I believe.
Yeah.
It's definitely around the younger adolescence of my teen years. Yes, definitely.
Exactly. So when I met you, I saw that creativity in you, you know what I mean? And because I work in Lenician High School as well, and I'm still there today, but I met you there.
Amazing.
And it's just crazy how you've progressed. I remember the youth clubs that we used to have. Friday nights coming, you would bring lots of people, and you got your decks as well, and just spinning those decks. And where did the creativity kind of started for you, and who inspired you?
I mean, funny enough, it started all through my brother. He purchased a set of decks when I was young, a set of DJ decks, and watching him just put them to the side and let him collect dust made me a bit intrigued. And I was like, okay. And I was very inspired by an artist at the time called Avicii.
Okay.
So yeah, I think having both of those hand in hand led me to get a bit curious, and my curiosity led me down a creative path, more down music than it did media. But yeah, it was definitely started then when I was young through my siblings, I think. Seeing that he wanted to pick up a hobby, and I was like, oh, I want to do the same thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've always been creative. And also the thing about, there's what I love about you is this thing of that single-mindedness where you want to pursue something and you're really not allowing yourself to be distracted and just kind of like, how is that? Because sometimes we do get distracted, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. And I think we all evaluate and observe things differently. But for me, as long as I guard my focus, and my focus can change from day to day. My focus could be on my family, it could be on myself, it could be on my music or my passions. But as long as you guard your focus, ultimately, whatever comes your way, you're not going to be distracted or disorientated from what's going on around you. And that helped me keep applying my hobby, effectively as a career, because I was ensuring, I was just protecting that focus. I enjoyed it that much. I wanted to ensure I was giving it my all when I was pursuing it. So it led me to stick with one thing.
Yeah, because it's crazy. Like for me, it's like I'm asking these questions, but I'm also thinking back of how that journey was, because all of us are on a journey.
Yes.
And I saw, like with your friends as well, how focused you were talking about the focus, how focused you were, and how some of them kind of like went different paths, and I get that. But your focus was just so tunnel vision kind of focused. And I mean, the time you came, you and Lewis, shout out to Lewis.
Yeah, come on, Lewis, big up.
Big up to him. You guys came on with me where we had this show in
it was the university, wasn't it?
Yeah, university, and then also Carmarthenshire when we went up there as well. And so I knew I saw some potential in you, because of course I don't know about music, but I know passion, and I know focus, and I know creativity. And man, I have to give you a shout out. I have to give you a massive, I'm proud of you, the person that you've become from that time to now. And it's just amazing. And in fact, we're actually sitting in the studio that we are. This is Hefty's studio.
Yeah, full circle moment right now.
Full circle moment.
Crazy.
It is like,
I went to a youth club, and now we're here and we're doing a podcast together. And I just want to say vice versa. I want to reciprocate the love. Like, if you didn't give me that optimism and that perspective I needed when I was young, I honestly can say I don't think I would have reached for some opportunities the way I have now and explored myself and expressed myself the way I do now. If it wasn't for you. So I appreciate you for for the opportunities you gave for me and the perspective, the light you brought for everything. So
Yeah, bro. No,
love, man.
and that's what it is, isn't it? It's like we move from mentor and mentee
Yeah.
to both mentors now,
Yes.
because we're mentoring each other.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. Like, how important is mentorship for you? How do you see it?
It's now a part of me. It's a part of my personality. It's part of who I am. I care and observe a lot about other people that I maybe wouldn't have if I hadn't had met you. I'm able to see light and dark within other people, whether that's their creative ability or their weaknesses, and how we can turn them into strengths. And it was only until we had the conversation last week did I realize, wow, there's so much of you in me, and like how you applied yourself to me as a younger is how I now apply myself to a lot of my clients and a lot of my youth that I have come in. And I feel like that just subconsciously plays a natural role in me mentoring others and guiding them through things they didn't think they needed guiding on. And it plays a huge role being mentored, and also having a mentor for yourself. Honestly, it can work wonders.
Definitely. It's like that whole concept of Ubuntu,
Yes.
Ubuntu,
Yeah.
it's I am because we are. And so it's weird because each one of us, if we show up with that focus that you're talking about, we give back to humanity.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so, like you saying, there are certain parts of me in you, and then there's certain parts of Juven and Russell and so many other people that did for me what I'm doing for you, and you doing for somebody else. And it's that whole community aspect of if you want coaching, if you want mentoring, and then you are teachable, it changes the dynamic, and that's how communities are being restored, really.
It does, of course. Like, you've got to embrace that as well. It's like sometimes you don't want to always accept the help, or sometimes you don't want a mentor. You believe the only way to achieve something is through, your own methods. But having the means to be mentored or mentor others, there's something about that community, that passion, that need, that crave that we all have to want more for one another. And it's such a subconscious thing. We just do it now. It's so second nature. It's just, we don't say we're going to do this specifically to someone. It just happens. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I enjoy it.
I remember also the time when Mac, shout out to Mac as well.
Shout out Mac, man. Come on.
And he came over to my house because at that time he produced my album, my first album. And then you came over, and I said to Mac, "Oh, you need to check Hefty, man. This kid is so ridiculously focused." And Mac is the same.
He is.
Mac is such a he's passionate about what he does, and I've known him for many years as well. And just that breakthrough, the breakthrough that he got now is because of that determination and the hard work.
Of course.
And so when I said to him, "Man, he needs to meet you," I remember just like you, and even with Ruben just behind the camera, these guys were talking about camera stuff. I was like, I don't know. But it's about linking other people with their passions as well. And so when Mac sat there with doing beats, and I could just see the two of you were just like,
my eyes were lighting up. I was like, yo, this is crazy right now. Like, this is an opportunity I've never had before. And that opportunity in itself definitely has led me down some more, more of an optimistic perspective on things, and being able to work with others and be inspired by other people's passions as well. And realize you share what others also share, just in different ways. And
you're right.
When you bring that all together, it's a very good sense of fulfillment and achievement and creativity.
Definitely.
Great.
You went to college as well and university?
Yes.
What did you study?
So I studied music technology in college. I studied media in like the lowest sort of college, but then I discovered music a bit more as more of an education path. I said, let's go with it. Enjoyed the college side. I went on to university. More, I'd say, for my dad's means. I wanted to make him proud. For him, it's a very big thing to get a degree. And I was like, I wanted to do it for him. So I kind of did it majority of the time for him. And for me, it was more of an experience of sharing it with other people. So like other like-minded people. That's why I kind of embraced it. Not for the educational side, more for I get to share the experience with everyone else. So with classmates, with tutors, being around like-minded creatives. Only it helps enhance your skills 10 times more. So I definitely took something from that, but for my own methods rather than the educational purposes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it was all a fun side of things. But I'm happy to be in the freelance side of the world now, and I'm my own manager. I can manage my own things, and I don't necessarily have to work to a professional standard or adhere to certain rules and regulations. And I think that keeps things a bit more fun because I can be a bit more creative or spontaneous with my job. So yeah, it's great.
Exactly. So like on the podcast is like, you know, it's called the Shift podcast. What does the shift mean to you in terms of, if we talk about transformation, we're talking about changing stuff. How important is the shift for you? What does that mean to you?
It's more important subconsciously. It's just like now it's so embedded into me. I don't think how I apply it. It's just there within me now. So the shift, if I say you have someone come in and they're quite they procrastinate quite a lot, you know, I'll listen to them, I hear them, I'll embrace their feelings and try to relate to them in some ways. But you have to shift your perspective on seeing things from someone else's shoes or another perspective, because there is no one way of seeing something in this world. You know, there's so many different ways of seeing it. So if you can enlighten yourself to seeing it in a more optimistic perspective, then you'll only end up feeling better about yourself and the situation, but less stressed and fulfilled in some areas. So shifting your perspective, shifting your mentality, shifting your productivity. You need light with dark, and you need dark with light. You know, without each other, there's nothing. So you have to always think, how can I shift the way I'm in this scenario? How can I shift my perspective? And I do it so subconsciously now, I don't see myself do it. So yeah, I've never really thought about it until now. So that's a fresh perspective for me. Yeah,
exactly. So take, for instance, like from being a teenager, being being focused and determined.
Yeah.
What were your values that helped you make decisions? Because that shift.
Okay.
I've seen how you've shifted, and maybe now, like you say, subconsciously, it's like trying to get the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it now. I'm thinking of the mechanical side of things.
The mechanical side of it,
Wow, yeah. Repeat that one more for me. I'm trying to think how I can answer these.
It's you know, how you shifted. If you look at your life, how you shifted. What were some of the values? What is it that you carry that actually say, I gotta shift this year?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I've never really thought about it like that. I think upbringing definitely made a difference. So like my morals, my principles, of course, all of those are varied for each of us. But again, I never really applied my morals and principles, realizing maybe they've got me this far. But for me, it's just been ethical. I need to be the best person I can be. I need to be the best person I can be for others as well, even if I don't want to be. And if they react to something that might not, you know, it might harm me physically or mentally in a way, I need to figure out how I can respond to that in a corrective manner. And I feel, I've never really thought about that question. That's thrown me off guard. Yeah,
but that's it. It's like me knowing you, like you've got your emotional intelligence as well. And what you just described there is that emotional intelligence is managing your emotion as well as somebody else's emotions.
Of course.
So it's kind of like guiding them through that, you know, and you're talking about this now. I had to learn over the years that everything is so subconscious that is part of what I do. It's like breathing. You don't think.
Yeah, you don't think.
Okay. Unless you become conscious, like I'm taking in that breath, but it is a natural thing. And so it's taking it from the subconscious and bring it to the conscious that you can actually now teach people.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? And so that's with you. I've seen that over the years, that emotional intelligence, how you manage even your peers and as a producer, how that's even more challenging, because as a producer, as like, you don't want to crack people down, but also they know that you are for them.
Yes.
And that's the kind of...
you've explained that perfectly. I think that's exactly what I would have dabbled on if that came to mind. So yeah, you've explained that spot on when it comes to that.
Yeah, that shift, isn't it? And tell me about like your creative work in terms of artists, and you know, how do you find the journey?
I get creative. So yeah, I started since young, just being creative, being enthusiastic, being extremely curious as well. So if I saw something in a movie or in an episode or on TV or anywhere, I'd be like, oh, how did they do that?
Yeah.
And then rather than, you know, wondering on how they've done it, I would go and search up the logistics and how they've put these pieces of work together, how they put this composition together. And over time, my curiosity led me down more of a enthusiastic path. And yeah, they both just bounced off each other, and I just became more creative. I dabbled in everything and anything I could, whether that was expression through drama, lighting, media, photography, music, production. the list goes on. I never really found myself picking one thing. I just enjoyed doing a lot of things all at once. Yeah, it was amazing.
That's crazy, and because I know you as well, it's
Yeah.
the thing. I remember me and Phil. Shout out to Phil Tracks as well.
Come on.
I still, when I go to Cape Town and do music, you gave us a beat.
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
crazy
I think
because
I
you
did,
might
yeah,
you forgot. I still do music on like called a No Go Zone. It's
Yeah.
called No Go Zone. Me and Tracks, and that is like what's crazy because whenever I do it with all your introductions, where it's like your Hefty boy,
Yeah.
and I always give just shout out to Hefty
Come
boy
on,
and
man, that's
all
love.
So it's kind of crazy how with all that music and then the beats and how you sat with it and it's just this whole creativity that you bring. And you mentioned about in your bio, you mentioned about wanting to give back.
Yes.
Got to give back to youth through workshops and projects. What do you think is the most important thing young people today need in terms of mentorship and creative guidance?
They need someone like you. Someone like, now I can say myself, they need someone who can see more in them than they could see in themselves.
Say it again.
Let's say it. They need someone who's able to see more in themselves than they could see in themselves. And there's right-minded people for that. You could have bad people that come across in life, and they'll either take advantage of that, and that's taking your kindness for weakness. And there's people I'd like to say that mentorships like us, and we're able to see the light, and we can take their perspective, and exactly like you say, just shift their perspective. And a simple thing like that can really go a long way for youth. And it's just picking the ones who we can see the light in, and maybe they can't see it in themselves. And it can make a difference.
Man, that listen.
That hits.
Exactly, that thing hits hard.
Yeah.
Wow, that is powerful because it's about mentorship. Is exactly what you're saying. Sometimes, like I knew when my album came out, there were two things that I had.
Yeah.
Either I could be like, listen, my reputation
Yep.
is important here because I'm trying to build something in terms of the music.
Yes.
You came focused, single-minded, focusing, so determined. Now I'm sitting with two things. This guy has got the potential to supersede his environment where he is at. Number one, are you going to give him opportunity, Ricardo? Or are you going to look for your reputation and build it? What you're going to do? And so I said, okay, I'm going to take you. I'm going to take you with me, and I'm going to give you the opportunity that you need. So that's what you mean. Why it hit me so hard is because I saw in you more than what you saw, but you had the morals, the values, the principles about yourself that drove you. And that kind of like made me know that he's already motivated in terms of this. All he needs is an opportunity.
Of course.
And good mentors are people that even share their platforms. With the people, with the mentees. And so why it hits me hard is because exactly what you're saying. For you to be where you are today is kind of like the environment is there. You choose if you want to go in. But I see more in you than what you see in yourself. And sometimes that can scare people off. Where they think, oh my goodness, I don't know. How can you see that?
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed by it. So why it hit me so hard, it is that we see where you could go. Even like shout out to Ruben, behind the camera there as well, 17-year-old doing what he's doing. And for me, it's about giving him opportunity as well, you know what I mean? And for people out there, if you need to do some, amazing work, get in contact with him. And this is what it is, do you know what I mean? It's about how do you propel other people to move forward with your own platforms. But yet the workshops, tell me about the workshops and what you want to give back.
Well, definitely in long term, I want to do what you done for us. You set up the youth club, and you were able to provide for a certain aged youth group. And although it wasn't particular with what they liked, so what they were into, you were giving people a safe space to feel comfortable. And that when you look past all of that, that is ultimately what it is. So for me, that's the studio for my clients and everything. So I want to be able to create a safe space for youngers, for youth, for even grown-ups, to be able to express themselves, to be able to build their development, to build their character. And, it really does make a difference when having a safe place to grow rather than a place you feel ashamed to grow in, because you might have something you really really love so passionately, and you might not be the best at it yet, but if you're in the wrong environment, that won't flourish. Whereas if you're in the right environment, it will, and it will really make a big difference in the long run. So
Exactly, man. And how do you approach working with artists of different age ranges and backgrounds? How how do you like connect with that?
it's I mean, it's the same, but it's very different. So
Yeah.
what one day I could have a 12-year-old in,
Uh,
and they might not be going on about the best things in their life, but there's always a moment for 5-10 minutes towards the end of the session where I'll chat to them and see what's their prospects. Who are you deep down behind this persona
yeah.
perspective? Whereas for a lot of adults, you don't tend to judge their persona because they've more than likely built themselves up as a man or a woman. They've built themselves up already. So for the youngers, I definitely approach myself and apply myself differently to the adults. But in a music perspective, it's all the same. I all just love it. It's great chemistry. But I think for the youngers, I'd always make them a bit conscious, like, what do you want to do in life? Oh, do you enjoy this? Do you enjoy that? Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good. What would your advice be to or for creatives out there?
Yeah. Oof. Well, don't stop being creative. Simply, whether you get validated by your mate, your family, your job, don't stop being creative. There was something in you that led you to be that curious to do what you do now. So keep being curious. Keep finding answers. If you don't know something, keep exploring, because that curiosity led you to where you are now. And I think don't ever be disheartened if you haven't got as far as you have with how much work, effort, and energy you put in. Just keep going, and keep going, because in the long run and in the grand scheme of things, you will ultimately feel fulfilled that you've tried your best, you've given it your all, you didn't give up, and that's what matters ultimately. I think for being a creative, you don't always get validated by everyone. The world's so big nowadays, things come and go. Everyone's retention time's down to 0. Your posts go fast. There's less essence when connecting with people because everything's through a phone now. So for me, it's always been grasping on trying to connect with people in person, really seeing how they are, and adapting to one another and building a bond and a chemistry, because I feel that's what lacks right now with things. So as a creative, if you do feel lost, get connecting, start networking with other people, start collaborating, and it'll remind you of why you do what you do, because someone else enjoys it the way you enjoyed it. And it's just keep pushing, keep being creative.
What was your kind of like, what were some of the challenges that you had to kind of like overcome to be where you are?
Parents.
Is it?
Parents, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, they don't know any better. They've come from a world where there was no technology.
Okay.
So they don't know. Like they still ask now, I hope the music thing's going all okay. Like, and it's like, yeah, full time, quit my job, I'm good. Like, but like I respect it the way they respect my hustle. But it makes me laugh. How's the music thing? Do you not know what I do? Do you?
It's like,
I get it. Like,
it's like why I'm laughing is because it's like some comedians like Trevor Noah from South Africa. Instead of so what do you do, Trevor?
Yeah.
It's like,
just make people laugh.
I'm a comedian. Oh, like a clown.
Yeah. Like, effectively, that's how it feels. Yeah.
How's the music thing? Almost like it has to look like, somebody picking you up to go to work, and it's 9 to 5, and you clock in, you clock out.
It's so different.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the only block, I'd say. I think getting them to believe in what I was able to see from such a young age. I was swinging wooden sticks around in my bedroom trying to do lightsaber effects and shooting prop guns and trying to add effects onto it. And they're just thinking he's having fun or he's a little bit different than the other kids in school. But I think I found ways to see the light in that, and I was like, I am different, and it's like I'm going to keep being different. I'm going to keep being me. And I think I didn't feel like I had to persuade my parents. They always supported me. They just I don't think they truly know what they were supporting. So
it's like, imagine their mates ask them, like, so what does Hefty do? It's like
music.
He pressed the play button.
Yeah. And turns up the volume when they need it.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So, when you're saying you're playing in your room, it's like, did you know that conviction already, that this creativity kind of thing is something like, of course, like sometimes we don't know if we're going to pursue that, but
of course,
it just sounds and it looks like as a coach,
Yes.
I'm listening to it and I'm thinking like, you captured something in that room.
Yeah.
You captured something that's kind of like, because
Yeah,
there's so
that's-
many things that we do and then we don't do this, we do this, we try and explore different things.
Yeah.
But the creative side about you from a young age, it seems to be like it has been there.
Yeah, I've never thought about it. True, it has been there. I think I just knew I was a little bit different. You know, parents were heavily. Oh, maybe that ties in. I've just realized now. Yeah, parents were never really quick to put labels on things. So like, I was dyslexic, and like I am dyslexic, and
Okay.
oh no, you can't put that on your CV, or you can't put that there. You can't put that on school. It's like, okay, so then I tell them, so now I'm in a scenario where I'm needed to do literature and I get stuck, I'm going to look foolish in front of them. Whereas if they can see I need a bit of assistance in areas, they can then apply skills differently to me and adjust to my needs. So always feeling a bit maybe oppressed by not having a label, but I don't really like labels anyway. So I kind of thank and respect them for the way they approached it with like, oh no, you don't have this, you don't have this. But I think subconsciously it made me think maybe I do have something and I am different, and maybe I am different because I do this and other people don't do that. And maybe now I've just thought they do tie in together. Yeah.
That's powerful because I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't tell no one. I don't go around saying it. Parents were never big on saying. Yeah.
Exactly. But for me, it's like I just captured something in terms of like, man, he captured something.
Yeah.
And your parents kind of like assisted what you explored.
Yes, yeah.
What you like is leave him to it. And that support there. Yes. I don't believe in putting labels on people because the thing is like, particularly with young people, when we put labels, or young kids, we put labels onto them. What if they develop late?
Exactly. Yeah.
Then we've put that label on.
Then you put that label on them, yeah. And that's all they've ever known. And then it becomes cognitive. Yeah. And cognitive tends to mean something that happens over and over again. And then when you turn that stuff into behavior, then it leads down a path of not the best flourishment, really. You know, and it's, now you've put that into perspective. Yeah, it makes a big difference.
It is, man. It is.
You saw through me, definitely. I don't think I realized I had something in the time I had it. I was just, now I'm thinking back of it. Yes, that's crazy. Yeah,
it is, because all of us, there's always like, say, when we coach people, you know, that creativity and that excitement that you have, that what I saw as a young boy, it was there already. Yeah. So when I saw it, it was just more enhanced, more, you know what I mean? Yeah. And now being in your studio, it's kind of like you still have that. So which means it's kind of like, it's, how can people discover what I always say to people, what are you passionate about? What comes easier to you than it might not, like, I mean, both of you talking about, you know, all cameras and all. Yeah. I am just, it's over my head, but I love the passion.
Yes.
I connect with the passion because I'm like, wow, I don't understand what they're saying, but how they saying it is so amazing. So I connect with passion.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing. All of us are different. Do you know what I mean? But if we can connect with other people's passions and we have compassion for them and empathy for them, then it means that you allowing them, just like your mom and dad did.
Yes.
Hey, leave him to it. He's you know, he's not harming himself. He's actually enjoying himself.
Yeah.
So let us take a back step and just make sure that the environment is safe.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. What you said there, that was like a facts moment then, bro. You got me clicking. Wow. The passion and compassion.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Because I think now you've said that again, I'm seeing that in others, and they might not have the same hobbies and interests in me, but I can see there's something in them that's maybe distorting their focus. And wow, and I'll show them a bit of compassion, that there is more out there, and you can be optimistic. And why don't you just give that a go again, or why don't you do this? And I think I'm seeing through. Yes, so subconscious what we do.
It's subconscious.
It's so subconscious. It just happens. We're just drawn to it, I think.
Even when I coach people, I always, when I first started, when I ask a question and they say, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would move to the next question, try to kind of like unpack what they try and explore with me.
Yes.
So they come in, they say, hey, I would like to explore becoming more confident. So that's the focus. And by the end of the session, we'd like to feel more like a little bit of confidence, feel good, happy, you know, that.
Yeah.
So to explore that, it means the confidence bit. But then you will ask questions based on trying to get them to where they are.
Yes.
Where they are now, you're trying to get them to where they want to go. Then they say, I don't know. And then I discovered it's not about that they don't know. They just need more time to think. Yeah. And it's because in the subconscious, they try to understand, how do I put this into words? How do I articulate?
How do I apply it?
And how do I apply and how, you know, articulate this? But then even when I coach young people now and they say they don't know, I just be quiet. I was like, I just stay there for a bit.
Okay.
And then they're like, Oh,
Yeah.
this, and this.
Yeah.
Because it is not practiced constantly.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Because if you do this every day,
Of course.
so nobody's coming in and asking you
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the producer. How did it start? Because you're like, nah, man, you got a couple of hours,
It's
man.
just it's just
Let's
there.
get going. You know. So that's the kind of thing of always taking of ourselves, particularly if things work.
Yeah.
Take it and then kind of like you can put it in a way to make people understand where you are at. So that's how I kind of like see it, is in the subconscious, but it has to become like, okay, you have to bring it from the subconscious here
Forward. Yeah.
and say, okay, this is the nuts and bolts.
course,
This is
yeah.
how you can apply. I never used to think like this. I used to think like you.
Yeah.
It is like people will ask me, so how did you get there? I don't know. I just did it, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is it working? Yeah, it's working, but how? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just see what I'm doing, you know? Oh, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
It's funny, man.
And that's the thing, that when you teach people or help people,
Yeah.
that 12-year-old that's coming in here, you can relate to that 12 because when you were 12-year-old and you see the passion and you see yourself and you're like, okay, now I can, because your passion level is here and I think I can take you.
It's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. Yeah. And it's only now, like, as you're speaking throughout this whole interview, it's like I'm smiling more and more because like things are coming to life more and more, realizing, wow, this is you as a person. You know, I'm very observant.
Yeah.
But like I'd never really observed deep into the reasons of why. And like now we're talking it, it's coming out and it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful what we have, and I have it so naturally now. I don't realize I have it, and I think
so. That what you just described there, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
When that's when you were saying about mentors or people that see more in you that the things that you can't see in yourself. So I knew your values and your principles. I always knew that your decision making would be good because it's based on your values, on your ethical, principles and all of this. So I knew with you are motivated by how you show up.
Of course.
Where other young people, you could see that they don't have the values, they have nothing to grasp on.
No.
And that makes it, we go like the wind. Where the wind blows you, you just go there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where you are very much like, the wind is blowing here, but
I'm grounded. I'm not moving.
I'm not moving. Wait for the wind to die down, and I'll keep going. So, what would your encouragement be to people like out there that maybe are passionate about what they are passionate about? What would your encouragement be for them, man?
I'm trying to think what I would have wanted at a certain age.
Yeah, okay.
You know, because that's probably a better perspective. Because what I require now is different to what I needed then. I think I needed a group, people to share your creativity with. There's only so much you can do on your own when being creative, and it's cool. You know, I like being on my own in the studio. Don't get me wrong. But my journey has expanded from sharing it with others, with clients, with other producers, with other like-minded, passionate people. And I feel like I just feel like you need a group of people, like you said perfectly. We don't know, you don't know all the camera gear, you don't know all the music gear, but the chemistry and the connection was so strong from the get-go. It's like, I felt that you wanted the best for me, and I trusted the advice you were giving. So I started to apply these, and now I've applied it so much, it's now just a part of me. I don't realize I'm doing it. If you feel like you're stuck in a rut, you need change. Work with other creatives. Work with other people. I got so inspired 2-3 years ago meeting a friend of mine, Luke Williams. Shout out to him. He was my neighbor next door in the studio. I was so inspired. I was always afraid to message him because he had a big following and he had a big, he was doing well for himself, fair play. And the success made me almost doubt, do I want to approach him? How do I want to approach him? But eventually I just ignored the online approach. We met in person, and since then the bond was there, both knowing that we wanted the best for each other, and we were able to enjoy our own journeys, but together. And it was like sharing that connection, sharing that love for music, sharing that love for our passion only ends up inspiring and motivating each other more. And even if that isn't to do with music, it means just for the greater good of life, your own life, being inspired to enjoy life a bit more in a different way. And I really feel like it's great on your own, but having a circle, I think, really helped me, and being able to bounce ideas off and share my passion with.
Man, that's really cool. Before we, before we go, in terms of your social media platforms. Maybe I want you to share with people, but I want also, just like I said in the beginning, want to give a big shout out to Lewis. This is what you're talking
My brother,
about,
man.
Lewis. Like Lewis, when I met the two of you, that's what you were saying about this bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
Was he in music? Like music the way you are? No,
Nothing.
right? You see?
Nothing. Yeah.
But he was always with you.
Yes.
And I will always call him, oh man, your manager.
Oh
Do you-
yeah,
you know-
obviously wherever I go, he goes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's the
yeah,
manager.
yeah.
So that's what it means. It's like, because that creativity might not be in the same kind of a field
Mm.
that you are in, I always knew he had your best interests
Yes.
at heart. Do you know what I mean?
Always, yeah.
And that there is so helpful, because not only was it you, but him as well. And so I knew that with these two, we can build, we can change the world. We can, I believe that we could do so much.
Yeah.
Just the three of us. There's other people as well, but for me, it's always seeing about, can you be happy for other people,
Yes.
even if the spotlight is not on you?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
That's what I had with Lewis. That's what I've had with, thankfully, a few mates, but Lewis most importantly from when I was young, and you've put it now into light. He let me express, and like there was no doubt about that. And I was a bit weird.
Yeah.
He was a bit weird,
Yeah.
and like my weirdness was with all the tech and the music and getting
Yeah.
creative, and it was never doubting each other's wants and needs, and we're just mates and we're there for each other, and we just
Yes.
express ourselves, and he was just always there. And then, so having a safe place,
man.
having a safe group of mates to express yourself in.
You're right. I
makes a big
remember
difference.
coming to your house when you did, in
When
your
we were
room.
cooking up in the room.
Yeah, cooking up in the room. And I remember he would always say to me, this is what, when he like opened the door, you're like, oh man, Hefty is always going to be, he's crazy, man. It's going to be, do you know, like
Yeah.
that? I was thinking like a hype man. I was like,
He's the
it's like,
best.
I was
man,
like, whoa. It's like, I was so impressed by that. Because sometimes nowadays, there's envy and jealousy and beefing going on, you know what I mean? It's like each one of us have creativity, and we just need to find what that is, find the right people around you that can inspire you and bring the best out of you. And that's why I honor him. I have to give him a shout out, because
props.
that is the kind of thing. But yeah, before we go, man, is there anything that you want to just share lastly that you kind of thought about?
Yeah, this has been crazy. This has been like a full circle moment for me. Most importantly, Ricardo, bringing everything to light again. Like I do something so subconsciously, I don't realize I was doing them, and I've been doing them for I've now been practicing these things for so many years. I don't realize I'm applying it to some of the youngers, even some of the olders who might be a bit unsure at the time they are in life. And just I think I'm overwhelmed by realizing how much you've done for me. And it's played a big role in my business, but most importantly, the relationships I've built with everyone, and how deep that relationship is. And as we all go through life in our journey, I think that's what's going to be most fulfilling, and that's why I'll be most content, is knowing I've shared that journey with other people, the right people. So I'm just overwhelmed with goodness, man. It's been a pleasure, bro. It's been a pleasure, man. Honestly, thank you so much for having me on the show.
You're welcome. And your social media?
We'll give a shout out. So Hefty UK on everything. Hefty_UK. That's on Instagram, YouTube, SoundClick. If you're looking to book some studio time, you're looking to get creative, if you want a safe space to just explore yourself and express yourself, this is the place. Ask anyone else in Cardiff or outside of Cardiff, because I've been lucky enough to work with some people internationally. If you ever want to explore being creative on a camera, graphics, music, anything, give me a message, and we could build a relationship, have some fun, and broaden your horizon. This is the place to be.
Come on, man. Come on. Guys, also, like, if you a youth practitioner out there, I'm talking parents, teachers, youth workers, mentors, just do what you do. Keep encouraging, keep inspiring. You never know where that will go. Just like Hefty was saying, is about like our job, not job, but it's a privilege for us to see the good in other people, and when they move forward. I'm talking about, you're not just doing it for today, you're doing it 5 years, 10 years, 20 and beyond years from now. So keep doing what you're doing, and thank you so much for joining us on the Shift Podcast. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Peace.